What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW videos. As many of you may know, there ended up being a change in Pokemon Go, mostly centered around the movesets. We've got some new moves added in, some moves actually ended up getting buffed, and we talked about that covering the Psychic type Pokemon and the move Psychic. You guys absolutely smashed that like button and definitely enjoyed the topic, so I figured we might as well go ahead and talk about Dark type Pokemon, because we have two kind of updates related to Dark types as a whole. Number one, we end up getting an update to the move Snarl. And then secondly, we end up getting a very good Pokemon that now has access to Snarl, which actually makes it a better option. So now we're here to answer the question, which Pokemon are going to be the top 5 Dark type Pokemon after the new moveset change has occurred. So yeah, a lot of things are changing. We're gonna have to really focus in on what the best Pokemon is going to be, and that's exactly what we are going to cover today. If you do enjoy this type of content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we jump into the simulations, I wanted to go ahead and talk about two Pokemon beforehand. Number one, we have Weavile. So Weavile actually got an update to its moveset where now it actually has access to the move Snarl. When previously you would just use Feint Attack as well as Foul Play if you were wanting to use it from the Dark typing. Well, now that we have two different moves, you need to know which one is better. And I can go ahead and tell you that it is Snarl. So you have a Pokemon that is really good in Pokemon Go. It has very good stats. And then all of a sudden, it now has access to a better moveset than what it had before. So expect Weavile to go up in the performance because of the move Snarl, but we still have to ask the fundamental question, is it going to be good enough to become the best? Well, I would argue that a lot of people would consider the second Pokemon that we'll talk about as the benchmark Pokemon that you want to beat from the Dark typing, and that is Tyranitar. So Tyranitar is Bite and Crunch, so nothing has changed for Tyranitar, but just know, Tyranitar's moveset is not the best moveset available from the Dark typing. So what that means is we're talking about Weavile at its 100% peak performance versus Tyranitar that could be better dependent on the moveset. And if you want to go ahead and take a look at it, we've got the moveset of Foul Play becoming the number 1 spot. It's always been there. And then we've got Crunch in at the number 2, and then Dark Pulse at number 3. So yes, you definitely would want Foul Play if you want to get the best performance out of that Dark typing. So the true question is Weavile going to be better than Tyranitar? And it's probably going to be due to the fact that it doesn't necessarily have the best moveset from that Dark typing with the Bite Crunch combination. So let's go ahead and run some simulations. The first one that we're going to do is going to be versus a Mewtwo. So of course, we've got some Ghost type Pokemon in at that number 1 spot. But if we look past that and focus specifically on the Dark typing, we've got Weavile in at the number 1, Hydreigon in at the number 2, then we have Tyranitar number 3, Absol number 4, and then Houndoom number 5. So just remember this, there is going to be a little bit of a trade-off. Although Weavile is going to have the best time to win in this way, it's also going to sacrifice the number of feints. The number of feints is fairly high at 40, Hydreigon 33, and then Tyranitar 31, and then Absol 50, and then you're kind of getting the picture. So if you use Weavile, it's a trade-off. Yes, you will get better time to win, you will just feint more. I would say the Hydreigon is definitely a little bit of a hybrid between the two because it has the second lowest number of feints between all the Dark type, and it has the second best performance. So yeah, it's a little bit of a toss-up, and it doesn't even have the best moveset. I mean, it's got Dark Pulse, so Hydreigon could definitely get better if it ends up getting Crunch, or if it gets Foul Play, so just be on the lookout for that. Who knows, it could become a Community Day exclusive move, and then it could become even better. So Tyranitar, yes, it is going to be a little bit lower, kind of middle of the pack as far as the time to win is concerned, but it does the best as far as those feints are concerned, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. It is a tanky Pokemon, it's going to perform fairly well, but there's technically better options as far as time to win is concerned. Absol, I wouldn't go with it. It's a glass cannon, it feints a lot, and it's not even necessarily worth it. I mean, it's the 4th best performer. And so yeah, I'm definitely not thinking about it from that regard. Let's go ahead and run one more simulation versus an Alakazam. The reason why I did this is because you are going to see a little bit of a flip in relation to the overall stats. So one of them is going to be that Honchkrow is going to be in at that number 3 spot. That's mostly due to the fact that Honchkrow versus the Mewtwo was weak against Ice Beam as well as Thunderbolt, so that definitely hurt it too. So yeah, Honchkrow was out of the picture versus Mewtwo, but it's still okay versus Alakazam. But regardless of that, we've got Hydreigon number 1, Weavile number 2, Honchkrow 3, Absol 4, and then Tyranitar 5, and then if you want to count Houndoom in at that number 6 position. But regardless of that, you are seeing these two Pokemon are consistently becoming one of the top options. Which one is better? Well, it obviously depends on the situation. I would say that Hydreigon is going to have the most potential because it has that move Dark Pulse. It will get better in time, so then I think once we got a new moveset, Hydreigon is going to clearly be the better option. But at least for now, I mean, I don't know. You could kind of consider it a little bit of a tie between the two. Definitely both of them in at that number 1 and 2 position. I would argue that Tyranitar is probably the third best at this point in time. And then when you get into the number 4 spot, number 5, it's really going to be between these Pokemon. But it once again just kind of depends on the Pokemon that you go up against. And then of course the movesets that it has. But just generally speaking, I actually prefer using Houndoom over Absol, mostly because of the number of feints. Absol's pretty much going to have the highest number of feints among all these Pokemon. Like if you take a look at all of the dark types, it's the only one that's going to actually end up with 6 feints. So it's just always going to be feinting more. So that I personally do not like, but it's definitely something that you do want to consider. So that just about wraps up the video. I want to go ahead and end on a question of the day. Do you think that this finally settles the debate between Weavile and Tyranitar? And Weavile being the better option now that it has access to Snarl? I would love to know what you think about it in the comment section below. I know for me personally, it's a little bit of a toss-up because I already have some Tyranitar fully powered up, so I would have to make quite an investment on the Weavile side for Weavile to truly stand a chance on like a per level basis. But I want to know what you think about it in the comment section. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.